What's up? What's up? Happy Saturday. Coming to you guys with a great workout for today. We're going to get some total body HIIT happening. So just before we head into the warm up, just so that you know what you need, if you have a TRX, that's awesome. If you don't, it's also totally possible to do this as a body weight workout, so no worries there. But no matter what we do, we want to start off making sure that we're taking care of the body and doing a little bit of a warm up. So we're going to kick things off with a total body mobility and stability warm up. I just call this my core activation sequence, and it's a great go-to if you're just doing a total body workout. So we got 9 movements. Let's get started. First off, you're going to set up lying down on your back. We're going to do the activated dead bug. So lie on your back, bring your knees up, and alternate arm and leg drops. So the key in your dead bug is pull your belt buckle towards your chin. That's going to tilt the pelvis into a neutral position. Draw your ribs down towards your hips. So that's going to help engage all of the intrinsic core muscles that stabilize your spine. And then we're doing 10 on each side with those opposite arm and leg drops. Next from there, supine knee to chest march. So start with both legs straight, dorsiflex your feet, draw one knee up as you exhale, pull that knee closer towards your chest. Inhale to switch over to the other side. And all you're trying to do is just prime the length in the back of the legs a little bit and engage the hip by doing a little bit of hip compression, actually. So if you feel a little bit of pressure in the hip, that's totally fine. What you can do to offset that a little bit is extend your opposite leg far away. So the straight leg, the one that's still down on the ground, go ahead, dorsiflex that foot, drive the heel down into the ground. So as one leg compresses, the other one's extending. Prisoner, side to side, alternating knee drops. Go ahead and make sure that your hands are behind your head, and if you can, get your elbows down onto the ground so you've got a nice wide open chest. And then feet wider than hip width apart. You're gonna roll both the knees down to the right hand side. Let that left hip and low back come up off the ground. And then go over to the left side. So right hip and right low back, roll up. So this one integrates hip mobility with the movement in the lower back. And it's gonna help loosen things up a little bit, especially if you found yourself sitting a lot. From here, we're gonna take it into activating the glute, doing a single leg hip bridge. So if you drive your left knee up towards your chest, you're gonna do 10 reps on the right leg. If you feel this a lot in your hamstring, or if you feel like you're about to get a little bit of a hamstring cramp, just do both legs down on the ground. You don't have to do single leg hip bridges. That's just a progression if that's something that you're capable of. So we'll do 10 on each leg with that one. Really try to focus on waking up the glutes. From there, we're gonna move into our bow and arrow. This is probably my favorite dynamic stretch. It's really good for opening up the spiral line, getting the shoulders moving properly. So what you want to do is actually imagine that you're pulling an elastic bowstring so that you're actually pulling that row back with a little bit of intention. You feel that connect your shoulder blades, slide towards your spine, and then you can drive the elbow down towards the floor before you stretch the arm all the way open. If you find that you're really flexible, squeeze your knees together a little bit and try to resist the knees following the stretch. If you find that you're really tight and you're having a hard time finding the ground, relax your lower body and let a little bit more of a rotation come into the body as you do the stretch. So it's sort of like if you're tight, you need more space, then move. And if you find that you're pretty mobile and what you need is actually to strengthen, then you're just gonna create that little bit of tension in the body throughout the stretch. From there, we'll go into the reach and rotate. So take your right foot, if that's your top leg, and tuck your right foot down into the ground so that you've got a little bit of a stretch in the quad. Then you're putting your left foot in front of the knee so that it doesn't move. And then from there, think about taking really big circles with that top arm. You wanna reach up to the ceiling, you wanna reach over your head, think about lengthening the lat, and then just as far as is comfortable, you're gonna rotate the torso down towards the ground, maybe resting that top elbow down on the ground for a second. Really think about length while you're doing this one though. We don't want to sort of shrink up and compress into the back or the side. So even while you're doing this circle with the arm, think about growing the crown of your head away from your tailbone. So we're stretching a lot of things. This is a really integrated stretch, but whenever we stretch, we're trying to think about length in the spine and really good posture. From here, we'll do a cat-cow. This is just really good for getting the spine moving. And I like to incorporate my feet when I do this one. So if we do stretches and sort of incorporate what's happening in the hands and feet, it translates really nicely to what's going to happen in a total body workout. So spread your fingertips out a lot. Try to get a really big 5 on the ground, spread all fingers apart. And then tuck your toes under when you lift and press the tops of your feet down when you round. From there, coming into the adductor rockbacks. So starting off in a quadruped stance and extending one leg out to the side. If you can, roll the bottom edge of your foot down onto the ground. That's going to bring the stretch all the way up the lateral line. You might even feel it on the outside of your shin a little bit. And then obviously there's going to be a stretch in the inner thighs as well. So you do a couple of rockbacks, and then if it's comfortable, and only if, then you might walk your hands forward and over to the side to bring the stretch into the opposite side body. So if my right inner thigh is stretching, as I walk my hands to the right, I'm going to be stretching out through the left side. So again, very integrated. If you ever feel pain or discomfort trying to put a bunch of pieces together, you can always just stay with sort of the simple base stretch, which in this case would just be stretching through the inner thighs. So if you're doing the full sequence, we do about 5 on each side. And then when you feel good, you're going to be switching over and doing the other leg. So especially because there's going to be a little bit more dynamic lower body stuff in this workout, we want to put a little bit of space into the adductors. They are part of the core, actually, in the sense of how your core fires and stabilizes. So if they're really tight, your adductors are really tight, they can't really do their job to help with core engagement. So making sure that we put this little bit of mobility into the warm-up is going to help the body function better by the time we get into the workout. Last one here is the hip triple threat. So we're going through a bit of a quad and psoas stretch, and we want to get a couple different angles. So if you start by pressing your palms straight up towards the ceiling, really dig your back toe into the ground, really make sure you have stability in the hips, and then exhale, rotating towards the front knee is just going to mobilize the hip in a couple different planes. Now we're adding in that lateral stretch, and then you're going to straighten out the front leg and pull back into a little bit of a hamstring stretch. So you might notice that I'm moving fairly quickly through this warm-up sequence, mostly just because I'm pretty familiar with it, and so it's comfortable for me to move pretty quickly. But if you need to slow things down a little bit, what I do want to make sure is that you feel like you're properly warmed up before we do this HIIT workout. So anytime we're working out at a higher intensity, really important to make sure that we don't just come at the workout cold. So what we'll do now is set up for the workout, but if you need to take a few extra minutes, just push pause so that you can make sure that you're ready. So this is a Tabata style HIIT workout, and what that means is we've got a total of 8 exercises, and we're going to do 2 rounds. So you'll do 8 exercises 2 times through. The way we set the workout up though, you're going to do 2 exercises, that's a superset, and you're going to go 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So exercise 1 for 20, rest, exercise 2 for 20, rest, you go back to exercise 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 4 times through the superset, a 1-minute rest after the superset, and then into the next exercise from there. If you're newer and you want easier options, just skip the video ahead to 28:40. I'm going to be demonstrating easier options that will still allow you to participate in this workout. All right, it's go time. First exercise is squats. So either body weight squats, squat jumps, or some variation on the TRX if that's what you've got. We've got 20 seconds for exercise 1. Nice work. Second exercise is going to be a TRX row. If you're doing the body weight exercise, go ahead and do a prone T fly. So lying on your stomach, arms out in a capital T shape, and then squeeze your shoulder blades together as you bring your arms up. All right, that's what the superset's gonna feel like. So heading into the second time through, let's get back into those squats. Awesome. So into our rows now. If you're doing a TRX row, I want you to start with your knuckles beside your armpits so you already know where the top is. When you hit go, you're gonna lower down and then pull back up. Looking good, team. Let's keep it up. In those squats, nice soft landing. So if you're doing the jump, absorb the impact on the way down and think about driving your knees open so that you're firing up your glutes.
No, won't turn around. I won't turn back. I made up my mind, and that's a fact. It's over, baby. I'm hanging up this phone.
Really important that we remember to train the backside of the body. So rows and these T-flies, really, really good for those posture exercises, strengthening your upper back and the back of the shoulders. So even though it looks easy, give it your best effort. One more time through, let's go. Almost there, guys. Go right to the end. Don't quit early. Make sure you get all the way to that beat. All right, so as we head into the second superset, we're gonna be doing lunges. So you can either do static or step back lunges, or you can do cycle jumps if you wanna follow us and do a nice dynamic version. And then we're gonna pair that with side plank, so either holds or hip drops. Let's get ready. Great job. Let's set up for that side plank early. So either stack your feet or split them, one in front, one behind. And then make sure that bottom arm is nice and stable. So elbow under shoulder, push the shoulder away from your ear, and push the floor away from you. As you do those hip drops, try to keep your top leg straight the whole time so you're using your obliques and not cheating by bending the knees. Awesome. We'll do the second side after the next set of lunges. So pop back up and get ready to do the lower body exercise. Great job. Now when you set up your side plank, just make sure you do the other side. So we did right side the first time, do left side this time. So really important as we're doing those side planks, I want you to keep your hips vertically stacked. So the top hip, don't let it roll forward, don't let it roll back.
Every time you invade, you fill my mind with pain.
Killing it, team. Good job. We're getting toasty. Let's lose some layers heading into our next round. You got this.
Every time you go, every time you go,
All right, setting up last set on those lunges. Lower body exercises involve big muscles and burn lots of calories, so let's give it our best. You're closing in on that rest, but get all the way through it. Both sides need to be equally strong. So give me those last couple reps with great quality. Here we go. Nice work. Good job. Catch your breath. Great opportunity right here to get hydrated. Make sure that you're taking in a little bit of water in these rests. And then catch your breath, shake it off. We're going to be heading into our third superset. This time coming into push-ups and crunches. So if you have the TRX, you're gonna go in with your feet face down. Both push-ups and crunches are done with the feet in prone position. And if you're doing the body weight version, you'll do push-ups and then roll over onto your back to do some crunches. Get ready. All right, set it up. Let's get strong. Here we go, push-ups. So the key to push-ups is keeping your whole body strong. So dig your toes into the ground. Squeeze your quads. Squeeze your glutes. Brace your core. And every time you come up, imagine pushing the floor away from you.
Sometimes I feel like everybody's got a problem.
Now there's lots of crunch variation, guys, so I want you to pick the one that you like. Here we go.
But I know we're gonna get through this. Close your eyes and please don't let me go. Don't let me go now. Close your eyes, don't let me let you go. Take my hand tonight. Let's not think about tomorrow.
Nice. Second shot at those push-ups. I want you to focus on good quality reps. So do great reps before worrying about speed.
Take my hand tonight, one last time.
So if you're doing those TRX crunches, you might want to be doing it from your forearms just to give your wrists a bit of a break between the push-ups and the crunches. Up to you, team.
Crazy, but I know know they just don't understand. Rise and please don't let me go. Don't let me go now. Close your eyes, don't let me let you go. Take my hand tonight. Let's not think about tomorrow.
Now, for sure, one of the challenges of this style of workout is how hard you're breathing. That definitely makes it harder to keep stability in your push-up, but give it your best effort.
And our love will never die. Take my hand tonight.
So hey, if you feel really tired, if you feel like you can't do more push-ups, I want you to rest at the top in a plank. Don't rest at the bottom. At least get some good plank work in there if you need that little break for your arm.
Sometimes I feel like everybody's got a problem. Sometimes I feel like nobody wants to solve them. I know that people say we're never gonna make it, but I know we're gonna get through this. Close your eyes and please don't let me go. Don't let me go now. Close your eyes, don't let me let you go. Take my hand tonight. Let's not think about tomorrow. Take my hand tonight. We can find some place to go. 'Cause our hearts
Last round on these two, crew. You got this.
will never die. Take my hand tonight. One last time. The city sleeps and we're lost in the moment. Another kiss says we're like
You got it. One more time on crunches to earn that break.
we're crazy, but I know they just don't understand. Rise and please don't let me go. Don't let me go now. Close your eyes, don't let me let you go. Take my hand tonight. Let's not think.
Whoo! Nice job. Catch your breath, take a breather, get some water, shake it off. We got one more superset, and then you've seen all 8 exercises and you're halfway through.
Take my hand tonight. One last The rain drops, the tears keep falling. I see your face and it keeps me going. If I get lost, your light's gonna guide me, and I know that you can take me home.
So setting up for these last 2 exercises, we've got curtsy lunges. I recommend alternating, and we're gonna pair that with an exercise that'll help you strengthen your back. So lots of options for bodyweight back extensions. Allie's gonna demo a skydiver. You could do a cobra. You could do alternating Supermans, whatever you like. All right, here we go. Now, if you've been following along with the TRX variations, TRX back extension is a hinge exercise. So you want to think about this as being driven from your glutes. So start up on your tiptoes with your arms in a capital Y position, and then pull the hips back and try to get to a full V hinge at the bottom. You're gonna squeeze your glutes, drive your hips forward, and pull back with your arms at the same time, and you're gonna finish that rep up on your tiptoes at the top. So something to think about with these prone exercises, even though you're lying on the ground, I want you to still brace your core. So even though you're resting on the ground, think about pulling your belly button up to support your spine. You want to keep those abdominal muscles on the front side of the body engaged so that your spine can stay in a nice long neutral position, and then you get to strengthen the muscles in the back. All right, last time through on these 2 exercises till the break. Now stay strong all the way to the finish. Find those glutes. Squeeze your glutes. You got this. You guys are doing awesome. You are officially halfway. Now, on the second round, Allie and I are gonna switch. If you are joining us looking for those low options, I'm gonna give you a couple of different variations through some of these exercises. If you're hanging in and this is your second round, feel free to take these low options if it means you get a better quality workout.
Waking up at the start of the end of the world, but it's feeling just like every other morning before.
If you're with me on these static squats, I want you to stick both big toes down onto the ground, and I want you to spread your knees as you lower to help engage your glute.
Started staring at the passengers and waving goodbye. Can you tell me what was ever really special about me all this time? But I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. We could turn 10 o'clock, but I don't really know. And I can't remember caring for an hour or so. Started crying and I couldn't stop myself. I started running, but there's nowhere to run to. I sat down on the street, took a look at myself. Said, where you going, man? You know the world is headed for hell. Say your goodbyes if you got someone you can say goodbye to. I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come right now. Let's see how far we've come. I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come.
So pay attention to the position of your head, especially as you get tired. If you're doing TRX rows, try to keep your eyes right on the anchor point where the TRX is connected to the frame. That's gonna bring your neck into a nice long line. If you're doing the prone T-flies, keep your chin drawn back so your eyes are straight down looking at the floor right underneath your face.
It was just all cool, now it's over for me, and it's over for you. Let's go, go, baby, it's all gone. There's no one.
Looking great, team. Let's get back to those squats. You got this.
It was just all cool, now it's over for me, and it's over for you. I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. I think it turned 10 o'clock, but I don't really know, and I can't remember caring for an hour.
Come on, everyone. Keep going. You guys are doing great. Think about the length of your spine. Get taller from the tailbone all the way out through the crown of your head. The longer, taller you are, the flatter the surface is your shoulder blades get to wrap onto the pole.
You got someone you can say goodbye to. I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we go now.
All right, last set on squats, team. We've only got 20 seconds left, and then we're putting these down for the day. If you're still jumping, I'm super proud of you. Can you make it all the way to the end? Keep jumping, push the floor away, and give me that nice soft landing so we're getting good quality reps. Come on, all the way. You got this, all the way. Awesome, way to go. Get down into that last set for your rows or your T-flies. Let's finish this one off and earn a good 1-minute break.
Corner and there's no one at home. Well, it was cool, cool. It was just all cool. Now it's over for me, and it's over for you. Let's go, go, baby, it's all gone. There's no one on the corner and there's no one at home. Well, it was cool, cool. It was just all cool. Now it's over for me, and it's over for you.
Awesome, great job. You guys are killing it. Hey, we're on the second half of this and everything's downhill from here. So if you find yourself getting a little tired, if you're thinking about, you know what, I could turn this video off and nobody's gonna know, well, one person's gonna know. You are. So use this 1-minute rest to catch your breath, give your head a shake. I'm giving you lots of options on how to do the exercise so you can take it down and do an easier version. But the key is that we want to keep working on these 20-10 intervals. We want to keep the heart rate up, and we want good quality movement throughout this workout. So even a simpler movement done well is going to help you get stronger, and it's going to help you get fitter. So when you get tired, you've got to prioritize good quality reps. And if that means taking a regression, you will ultimately get fitter and stronger because the workout that you're doing it well. So coming into that second superset, let's get ready. So on these alternating step back lunges, I want you to try to make sure that the knee of your front foot hits that 90-degree angle. So stepping back, pulling the hips back helps you load into the hip and the glute, and it keeps your knee nice and safe.
What is love?
So great option for a good quality side plank is just to do a hold. So lift and hold. And if you want to, you can add extension in that top leg. Big part of what we're doing in side plank is actually training the glutes. So the bottom glute is helping you push your body up away from the floor. And if you have your top leg extended, your glutes helping you do that movement as well.
Oh, I don't know why you're not there. I give you my love, but you don't care.
All right, let's get those lunges. Now, if you're doing the jump lunges, I want you to make sure you have a nice soft landing. If you're doing the step back lunges, you have to prioritize balance before speed.
Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Oh, baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Setting up our side planks here, make sure you hit that other side. Now, in your side plank, once you drive up, I want you to squeeze your glutes and think about pushing your hips forward. So your head, your shoulders, your torso, your ribs, your legs, they're all in one straight line. So squeeze your butt to push your hips forward, pull the ribs in, and draw your head back to fully stack the body.
No more. What is love? Oh, baby, don't
Hey crew, you're crushing it. We got one more round on these lunges and side plank.
When we are together, I need you forever. Is it love? What is love? Oh, baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Oh, baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? What is love? What is love? What is love?
You are so close to that break. Hang in there. Give me every last second right to the beat. Come on, you got this.
Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Oh, I don't know. What can I do? What else can I say? It's up to you. I know we're one, just me and you. I can't go on. What is love? What is love? What is love? What is love?
All right, team. Superset number 3, push-ups and crunches. If you're in the TRX, go ahead, get your feet in. Let's get ready to knock this out of the park. Now in this round, I'm going to show you a few exercises that you can do to help improve shoulder stability and core strength. And if you master these exercises, what you'll find is that translates to your ability to do full push-ups in the near future. So focus on those same strong core muscles as that push-up. Now, crunches can be a pretty easy exercise, but I want you to think about the muscles that are actually supposed to be doing the work. The rectus abdominis, those six-pack muscles, they're designed to create spinal flexion. And what we want to do is think about curling up and bringing the ribs closer towards the top of the hips. So keep the touch on the back of your head really light and do the work with your abs. So even though showing a different variation with each set that we do, I want you to find the one that works the best for you and keep that. So the short plank shoulder taps, just shorten the length of the body, make it a little bit easier to focus on that anti-rotation. So you're trying to keep your shoulders and hips parallel to the ground the whole time.
Listen to this fat bass that will send the blood coursing through your veins.
So this time we're taking a look at a plank with a forward reach. If your wrists don't feel too good, you can do this one on your forearms and still reach the opposite arm forward. The key though is keeping stability in the arm that's holding you up. So think about screwing that upper arm bone into the armpit so that you're nice and stable. All right, last time through these two exercises, set it up. Let's make the last set the best set. Now, if you're doing the eccentric push-ups with me, When you lower down, I want you to go nice and slow. Tight quads, tight abs, really resist gravity on the way down. When you touch your knees to the ground to push back up, keep your core nice and strong so that you'll end up looking like a worm on the way up.
Bass.
You got it, guys. Stay with it. Come on, you are so close to that break. But make sure you earn it by going all the way to the end of the set. Come on, come on. All right, no worries. We're going to make this. We've got one last superset to go, and that'll be the end of this workout. So let's make sure we finish strong. Curtsy lunges and back extension. Set it up. Let's get to work. So that TRX back extension is a glute variation, but if you're not feeling super confident with it, you can also just bang out some hip bridges. All right, here we go. Curtsy lunges are a favorite of mine because they're a great way to train the hip in a different range of motion. We're getting into the transverse plane by adding in some rotation. If you can get your knee down towards the outside of that back heel, that bottom heel, it's really going to actually help open up the hips and challenge you in range of motion and flexibility. So on this Cobra variation, my hands are tucked in right beside my ribs. I want to pull my shoulders back and squeeze my elbows together. So I'm doing the work with my legs, my glutes, and my back. I'm not really pushing into the floor. I'm just putting my hands in that position to keep my shoulders engaged and drawn back and down. So we talked about the back leg in that last set. Now I want you to pay attention to your front leg. So your front knee, you want to try to keep it pointing straight forward. Keep it in line with the second and third toe on that front foot. So that way the knee is safe and we're able to explore that range of motion and flexibility at the hip.
Come home, I'll stop this. When you come home, I'll hide it.
Just like in those prone T-flies, if you're doing the alternating Superman, I want you to engage your abdominals, think about lifting the belly button up to support the spine. So even though the floor is there, you're not resting on the floor, you're still imagining being lifted. So if you were Superman, you're actually flying, you'd have to actually hold yourself up in the air. So think about that as you do this exercise. Team, we are so close. This is your last round through these two exercises. Come on. You got it. You've come this far. Make sure you go all the way. Come on, last couple of reps. Get low. Oh man, we are so close, staring down the barrel of that last exercise. Here we go. Make it count. Every rep, every breath. Finish this one and finish it strong. Finish it proud. Fantastic work, everybody. Great job. I am lying there. I know exactly how you feel, but you did it. So now we just want to catch our breath, and then we'll take it easy. We'll finish this off with a nice little bit of a stretch. So grab a sip of water, hang tight, don't leave. This is the important part where we say thank you to the body. We start to stimulate recovery. You're going to feel better, and you're going to be able to train again tomorrow, which is what we all have to do as we move every day in May. All right, if you're ready to join me in a stretch, go ahead and take your feet flat to the floor, bring your right leg up, and we'll start off by stretching out the hamstring. So once you've found grabbing onto the back of the hamstring, what you want to do is actually roll your tailbone down towards the floor, lengthen the hamstring out from where it connects to the pelvis. And if you still want more than that, you can bring your toes a little closer to your face and then even extend your left leg long along the ground. I want you to prioritize breathing and trying to talk to yourself a little bit and find that relaxation. So from there, cross your right foot over top of the left knee, dorsiflex that right foot, and if it's comfortable, go ahead and grab onto the back of the left hamstring, pull the knees in towards your chest. You'd feel this one on the outside of your right hip. You can kind of rock back and forth just a little bit, and if you want to go even a little bit deeper, put your left foot back on the ground and drop both legs over towards the left. So you should feel this in a different spot on the outside of the right hip. Great opportunity here to slow down your breath. Think about that inhale, expanding the waist, stretching the ribs out, creating a little bit more space. And then that exhale is where you really relax and sink in. You want to add to this one a little bit, grab your left hand, pull the right knee towards your left armpit, and just increase that stretch just a little bit more. All right, from there, gently release that. Roll onto your left side and we'll stretch the right quad. I'm a big fan of ground-based stretching for recovery because you're able to relax. You don't have to worry about your balance and you can just take support on the ground underneath you. So really lean into the ground, and if anything, roll your right shoulder, roll the top side of your body forward towards the floor a little bit. That's gonna help you actually lean into that quad stretch and get some nice length all the way down the front of the body, down through the hip and into the quad. Nice, gently release, go ahead and sit up, and we're gonna add in a couple of seated stretches here. So extending that right foot out, I want you to square the torso off so that it's facing towards that right leg, and then lengthen and reach towards your knee, your shin, or if you're able, even towards your foot. You can round the back a little bit on this one, but still think about stretching the chest forward towards the knee. So you're putting some length into the back. And then from there, we're gonna turn and do a stretch for the QL. So right hand reaches out along the right leg, bring your left arm up overhead, and really try to breathe into that space between your left hip and the bottom ribs on the left side. Keeping both sides of the sit bones grounded on the floor. Breathe and feel that stretch coming all the way up the side. If you feel it in the right inner thigh as well, that's okay. You'll typically feel your stretches where you're the tightest. So it's okay for there to be a little bit of variety. So we'll go ahead and repeat that whole sequence now on the left-hand side, starting with that hamstring stretch. So starting with the right foot flat on the floor so that you can drop the tailbone down towards the floor and lengthen that left leg. If you still have room for more, then go ahead and extend the right leg all the way out and keep a little bit of action in that right leg just to help stabilize the hips. So gently dorsiflexing the right foot and pushing the heel down into the ground will help you get a little bit more range of motion through the left. Breathe. Use that exhale to try to drain tension out of your body and just let it fall right down into the ground. From there, cross that leg over the right knee. Really important that you flex your left foot, so pull your left toes towards your knee. If that feels like enough of a stretch, you can stay right there. But if you don't feel enough, you can reach through, grab onto the back of that right hamstring and gently pull both knees in towards your chest. It can also feel good to rock side to side just a little bit. Again, just sort of seeking out those tighter spots in the hip. There's so much movement in the hip that the tight spots can definitely be in different places, one side to the other. From there, if you want that extra little bit of stretch, put your right foot down on the ground and then slowly drop both legs over towards the right. So if you can get that left foot all the way down to the floor, that's great. If not, just find a comfortable place. We want to keep our stretches around a 5 out of 10 intensity, and it's really important that you can breathe while you're stretching. So if you ever feel like the stretch is too intense and you're kind of holding your breath, it's a great indication that you want to just back off a little bit and make it more comfortable. And again, on this side, if you want a little bit more, hold on to your left knee with your right hand, gently draw the left knee towards the right armpit, and just feel that stretch get in a little deeper into the hip. Nice. Take your time to unwind from that one. Whenever we're stretching, we want to come out gently. We're starting to let go of the tension that sometimes stabilizes joints like our low back. So I always want to come out nice and easy so that you don't shock those joints as they start to let go a little bit. From here, we'll go into that quad stretch. So rolling onto the right side, grab your left foot, and if you can, try to have your femur stay parallel to the ground. So if you have to lift it up above parallel in order to grab the foot, that's fine. You want to try to bring it back down to parallel so that we're stretching the hip in that nice straight line. And again, it's not really about where the heel is in relation to your glutes. What you're trying to do is gently draw the knee behind the midline of the body. So think about trying to get length from your kneecap all the way to your belly button. We want to try to go right through that hip space, opening up the quads and even the hip flexor. From there, coming back up into our seated stretches. So extend your left leg, bring the right foot in to the left inner thigh, and then square off your torso so that your chest is actually facing towards that left leg. You can reach for your knee, your shin, or even your foot. And even though you're rounded, still try to lengthen the chest forward so that you're putting some length into the spine. This can be a hamstring stretch, it can be an inner thigh stretch, it can stretch all the way up through the back line of the body. Wherever you feel it, just breathe into it. Inhale to that tight spot, and when you exhale, try to relax and let go of a little bit of the tension. From there, slide your left arm down alongside the left leg and bring your right arm up and overhead. So even though this is a side bend, I want you to still think about lengthening out that bottom side waist as well. So don't just collapse and fold over. Keep reaching for length as if I was there to gently draw your fingertips longer. Away out of the shoulder, away out of the hip, and keep that breath moving so that even though your stretch is static, your breath moves the stretch. Coming into a frog pose stretch, this is a really good one for the adductors, the inner thighs. If you're at home and the floor is kind of hard, maybe throw a pillow or a blanket or a folded up towel underneath your knees. We're going to be here for just a little bit longer. The connective tissue up near the top of the hip is definitely stiffer. There's less muscle, there's more connective tissue, so we want to stay for a little bit longer, but you want to be comfortable. So in this position, you want to think about spreading the knees out as far as is comfortable. We're looking for the stretch to be in the inner thigh. When you come down onto the forearms, try to think about maintaining good posture. So it's not an active plank. We're not squeezing, but we want to try to have elbows under shoulders, shoulders away from ears. We want to support the length of the spine, so keeping the abdominals gently activated. And then think about your pelvis. You want to keep it in a neutral position. So if there was a laser beam pointing out of your tailbone, you'd want that laser beam pointing straight backwards, not curling and turning down towards the floor. When you come out of that one, come out nice and slowly so that you're, again, we spent a little bit longer there, not shocking the joints as we come out. From here, we'll move into a little bit of T-spine mobilization. So sitting up a child's pose, and then reach your right arm underneath your left armpit, thread the needle. If you can, resting the right shoulder and your head down on the ground. So if this one feels like enough of a stretch for you, go ahead and stay right here. But if you want to make it a little bit more, take your left hand, grab onto your right hand, and then use your left hand to pull your right hand a little bit further through. So imagine taking that right shoulder blade and sliding it further away from the spine as you use your left hand to activate that rotation just a little bit more. Nice work. From there, let's switch sides. So start again in that child's pose. Again, we look symmetrical, but we're often tighter on one side than the other. So I like to ease into stretches. If the first variation feels like enough, you can just stay there. If it doesn't feel like it's so tight, or if you want to keep the stretch nice and even on both sides, you can always add that extra bit of stretch by pulling the left hand through with the right hand. But the key here is pick the option that allows you to breathe, pick the option that gives you a nice stretch sensation, and overall we want to be using this whole period of time to relax and start to get the body into a resting state. So from here, we'll go into a little bit of a stretch through the lats, and I like to make this one dynamic. If you don't want to, you're gonna take child's pose and then walk both hands over to 10 o'clock. Just gently lean towards the right and find that stretch all the way down the right side of the body. If you wanna do these little waves, all you're doing is coming up and then leaning down, right armpit towards the ground, and you're just trying to do the range of motion that gives you, again, that comfortable stretch sensation. So if you're doing the dynamic pattern, inhale on the way up, exhale on the way down, and then we'll walk both hands over to the 2 o'clock position. So again, maybe start off with the static stretch first. If you want a little bit more, you want to move it, you're going to inhale on the way up, exhale as you turn that left armpit down towards the floor. And you want to feel this through the sort of the edge of the armpit, the lat, maybe a little bit into the side of the left side of the low back. If you feel a pain or any pinching in the shoulder while you're doing this, back it off a little bit and then just stick to that static stretch. So then from here, moving into a ground-based pec stretch, what you have to do is start off by stretching those right fingertips as far away as possible from the shoulder. So in a capital T shape, make sure that you're lengthening the arm. And then with your left hand, slowly push your torso up and start to rotate. If it's comfortable, you can take that leg and step it behind so that you're using the weight of your body to roll the chest open and get a nice little stretch. And if you want even a little bit more, you can add that top arm reaching back behind you. So you're getting both an open chain stretch on the top arm and a closed chain stretch on the bottom. So come to the other side. Again, walk the fingertips as far away from the shoulder as you can before you move, and take this one nice and slow. If you have one side that's a little tighter than the other, you don't want to use your body weight and end up in a position that's really uncomfortable. So take your time moving slowly. Add the foot if you feel really good. And if you want that last little bit and it's comfortable, then you can stretch your arm up and reach back as well. So at this point, we've covered pretty much all the major muscles that we exercise during the workout. So I call this free time. If there's any additional stretches that you want to do, if you want to play around with a little bit of dynamic mobilization, I'm just going to leave things running. And this is your time to just finish winding down from your workout. When you do feel like you're finished, just take an extra minute to congratulate yourself for whatever the workout was that you did do. Really important that we give ourselves some kudos for the things that we do when we want to be building positive habits into our lifestyle. And what you tell yourself does make a really big impact. So you probably talk to yourself 100 times more than what other people tell you about yourself. So make sure you close this one out with a nice positive message. Thank yourself for the workout, even though it was tough. It's going to help you be fitter and be stronger. So thanks again for joining me. We'll have another one for you next weekend as we sort of move towards the close of the Move Every Day in May challenge. So again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a part of this great cause. Congratulations on a job well done. We'll see you guys next week.